Hey, this is Colin, and I just wanted to welcome you to the Faith Focused Marketing Podcast, a podcast designed for Christian business owners that are interested in building their business using marketing principles that last the test of time instead of chasing shiny objects and the fleeting winds of the new tactics that seemingly pop up day after day. If you're needing help with your marketing, feel free to visit faithfocusedmarketing.com. That's faithfocusedmarketing.com. And with that, let's jump into today's episode. Alrighty, hey, this is Colin. Just wanted to welcome you back to the Faith Focused Marketing Podcast. Today's episode, we're going to talk about the secret to successful advertising. And I should use the word secret in air quotes because truthfully, there really is no secret. In fact, again, with this podcast, most of what we're going to talk about are the things that never change. And especially with advertising, the main secret to having a successful whether it's a short-term campaign or sort of a long-term marketing machine running for your business, getting leads consistently, getting sales consistently, like kind of like a well-oiled machine, so to speak, is testing. So that is the quote-unquote secret behind successful advertising, is the ability to test. And if you remember on the first episode, or the second, I should say, I spoke about how what I feel sort of is proper advertising is advertising that's based off of specific measurables, right? Now, of course, you might run a business and you have zero interest in running results-based advertising. You're just totally happy doing sort of general brand advertising. Totally fine with that. But I would say for the most part, for most business owners, you're interested in looking at your marketing as an investment vehicle to fueling your business, right? To be able to obviously expand, generate more revenue, hire more employees, right? It requires some level of investment to increase your total amount of customers, right? And one of the best ways to do that is having a measurable marketing system in place to do that. And as you might remember, I talked about how Claude Hopkins was sort of the pioneer behind what he called traced return advertising, using coupons back in the day to be able to set up these advertising campaigns to generate lead flow and to generate sales, right? Whether we're selling a product or selling a service, right? I mean, we're still in the business, in general, in business of selling products or services or information, right? And so today I want to talk about more specifically, get a little more granular on what those tests could actually look like. So there's another advertising guy I kind of want to introduce you to. These are all men that are no longer with us, but they have sort of pioneered and led the path to direct response advertising that's designed to generate a response, right? Whether it's a lead, a sale, someone walking into your business, inquiring about a service or product, etc., or purchasing a product directly, right? His name is John Caples, and again, he kind of falls in line with sort of the Claude Hopkins realm of advertising men. And again, Caples is very well known for his tested advertising methods. In fact, one of the best books you could check out, so I recommended one to you already, it's called Scientific Advertising by Claude Hopkins. And again, all these recommendations I give to you, know that a lot of these men or women were not necessarily Christians, but what we're trying to look for here are the things that are principles, that are fundamentals, that are always going to be true, and the things that are also in alignment with Scripture, meaning you're not doing things that go against Scripture. You're not setting up, marketing campaigns that are, anti-kingdom or just not totally transparent with your customers, etc. So again, always, if you pick up any of these books and you read them, of course, always keep the fundamentals, apply the fundamentals into your business. And then if there's things you come across that you're like, yeah, that doesn't really align with Scripture, just disregard it, right? I think that's just important to say. But so John Caples, he has a great book. It's called Tested Advertising Methods. And it was written quite a while ago. I actually don't know the date on this one, but it's certainly over 70 years old for this one. I believe. Could be wrong on that, but give or take. So, and if you do decide to check out Tested Advertising Methods, I'd recommend you check out, there's multiple different editions. I'd recommend you check out the 4th edition. From my understanding, that was the last remaining edition that John was actually a part of. And then I think when he passed away, there was another edition that was made. So usually folks that are in the direct response business and have been in there for a while, they usually recommend checking out the 4th edition, which you can find on lots of used websites. But let's talk about when it comes to your advertising, right? If you have a Google Ads campaign set up, or if you have a Facebook campaign or direct mail campaign, and you're thinking about, how do you improve upon the campaign? Well, obviously, you need to test different pieces of that advertisement, right? But here's the interesting part. Before we even kind of talk about that, I want to give you a quote from John Caples in his book, Tested Advertising Methods, where he goes on to say, this is John, he says, "I've seen one mail order advertisement actually sell not twice as much, not 3 times as much, but 19 and a half times as much merchandise as another ad for the same product. Both advertisements occupied the same space, both are run in the same publication, both had photographic illustrations, and both had carefully written copy. The difference was that one used the right appeal and the other used the wrong appeal." So what a powerful quote to talk about the difference that 2 different advertisements can have selling the same product in the same space, meaning advertising space, in the same publication, again, using the same photographic illustration, but one choosing one appeal and one using another appeal. And more specifically, John talks about when it comes to an ad, there's another quote. He's got a book that's called Making Ads Pay, where he says, again, this is talking about, the importance of testing. He goes on to say, "We tested with an offer a series of ads with the same copy but different headlines. The extreme difference between the pulling power of the best headline and the poorest headline was more than 400%, right? So what does that tell you? Well, it tells you one of the most impactful things you can do in your business, right? You can also ask yourself too, like, where in the world of investments, whether it's you're investing in your business, you're investing in real estate property, can you see such drastic swings in outcomes, right? A 400% difference, or as he was saying in the previous quote, a 19 and a half times difference when it comes to selling merchandise, right? Just through how you're structuring your advertising and what you're testing. Like, what a drastic difference, right? And for our businesses, again, if you have an agency running your ads, that's awesome. If you're running your ads, great. If you're not running ads and you're thinking about running ads, great. Always keep in mind, again, this basic principle of the secret to ramping up your advertising in a way that's the most efficient is through having constant tests that are going on at any given time. And Claude went on to say that he felt the most important thing to test is your headline. Lastly, I'll just give you another quick quote. Again, this is from Tested Advertising Methods. John goes on to say, "In most advertisements, no matter how striking the illustration, the headlines are critically important. The majority of the public reads little else when deciding whether or not they're interested." And he says the success of an entire advertising campaign may stand or fall on what is said in the headline of the individual advertisement. And he goes on to say, inquiry returns show that the headline is 50 to 75% of the advertisement. So if you're looking for sort of the 80-20 rule to successful advertising for your business, the 20% that produces 80% of the results, right, is going to be spending time focused on your headline, right? Because you can see these swings that John talks about of one ad selling the same product or the same service with different headlines, creating a 400% difference. Now, to give you a personal example, I'm running a campaign right now as we speak, and I have one headline, and I'm promoting a free Meta Ads training using Meta Ads as my tool of advertising. And I have one headline. I have the copy is the same. The video that I'm using for each of the ads is the same. The offer is the same. The only thing that's different is the headline. I have one campaign that's getting me leads at $7.24, one headline that is. And I am testing another headline that is getting me leads at $2.05. So $2.05 lead versus a $7.24 lead. Promoting, again, the same offer on the same platform to the same group of people, just using a different headline, right? So this is just a personal example from one of my campaigns. So again, this might not be ultra groundbreaking for you. It might not be kind of this revolutionary thought process, but it's one of those things it's so basic, but from my experience, it's just not done that often, is the ability to have ongoing tests in your business and measuring them, right? Because what would it look like if you were able to generate leads for your business at $2 consistently versus $7, right? I mean, that's a huge difference, over a 3x difference, right? And what would that look like long term for the amount of customers you can work with? Holding your advertising spend exactly the same, right? How much more efficient would that look like for your business? And all you're doing is you're split testing a headline, right? That's not taking more capital investment. That's not taking anything. You're not taking any sort of extraordinary measure outside of just, hey, let me test a headline and let me see which headline appeals to this audience more than the other. Again, so for your direct mail, online marketing, offline marketing, whatever it is, I would encourage you, if you don't already have a system in place right now of testing, do it. And if you want to start somewhere, start with your headline and see what that does for your business. So that's it. Just wanted to make a quick podcast for you today. Again, nothing incredibly groundbreaking, but I would recommend you check out those books if you're interested in this conversation. Tested Advertising Methods, the 4th edition. And you can also check out the book Making Ads Pay, again, both by John Caples. And hope this is a benefit for your business. And I'll see you in the next episode.